Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's June 30th, 2014, and let's get straight into our news tonight. President Obama has addressed the nation, and I guess the world for that matter, talking about immigration reform, and now we have this article. Obama pledges to redirect immigration enforcement, conceding defeat on the overhaul. The action, which beefs up efforts to stem illegal immigration across the border, could slow efforts to deport undocumented immigrants already in the country. Is one of series of executive actions Obama will pledge since the House decided not to take up immigration legislation this year. So let's hear it from the man himself, his thoughts on the issue.
I am prepared to work with them even on a bill that I don't consider perfect. And the Senate bill was a good example of the capacity to compromise and get this done. The only thing I can't do is stand by and do nothing while waiting for them to get their act together. And I want to repeat what I said earlier. If House Republicans are really concerned about me taking too many executive actions, the best solution to that is passing bills.
So did you hear what he said? The they that he's referring to in that clip is the Republican Party. If they would just do what I want them to do what I tell them to do, then I wouldn't sign executive actions. If they would do this, if they would do that, if they would let me launch these unconstitutional wars, I wouldn't have to sign executive actions. Well, that's why you have, opposing parties, Mr. President, so you can have checks and balances. So not one branch can have any power over the other branches, so you can have a nice, consistent, level playing field, not just people to be your yes men like all the other people who are in your White House. But people said no to something, not yes men, but no men. The Supreme Court came out and they said, no, Hobby Lobby does not have to pay for your abortion. Supreme Court rules in favor of Hobby Lobby on contraception. On Monday, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in favor of Hobby Lobby in a case challenging the Obamacare contraceptive mandate. So contraception is a piece of this, but the larger issue is that Hobby Lobby just does not want to be involved with abortion. They said, hey, Sally, who works in Floral, if you want to go out there and be Miss Wild Girl, you need to handle your own business yourself. We don't want anything to do with that. So good for you, Hobby Lobby, standing on your religious freedoms. And in a country of people who consider themselves to be liberals and free thinkers and were acceptive to other points of view, we have this article. F you. Left-wingers want to burn down Hobby Lobby after the Supreme Court win. Now, I will caution you that some of the things we're about to look at are quite explicit. So let's look at some of these tweets. Sandra McMahon writes, F you, Hobby Lobby, you narrow-minded anti-women pieces of excrement. But not to be outdone, we have R.B. Blair. High Court rules in favor of Hobby Lobby. What the F is the Supreme Court smoking? But, you have to have the people who always call for the violent rhetoric. So we have Jeesley Crow, Hobby Lobby, time to burn that excrement down. So all these people who consider themselves to be tolerant of other people's views and lifestyles say, hey, if you have a lifestyle or a view that I don't agree with, your establishment needs to be burned to the ground. And then you see the violent rhetoric. Just like after Sandy Hook, the unfortunate situation there, you had people calling for the death of NRA members' children. NRA, you don't know what it's like to lose a child, so you need to have your children murdered. So it's always these liberals who are actually authoritarians trying to tell you how to run your life. But one thing that I'm not so much against, Ron Paul is saying, hey, come out here and celebrate this country by taking it back. And I'm very much pro in favor of that because myself and Joe Biggs, we were at the border this past weekend. And we come across the Border Patrol agent, and I'm not mad at the guy, the Border Patrol guy we saw at the checkpoint, but it's just the fact that they're bringing the people in from these South American countries or these Central American countries. They contact them at the border, and then they say, hey, here's your order to appear in court, but here's your ticket, your bus ticket, to anywhere inside the continental United States. So if you're supposed to appear in court in South Texas to be deported, and you get a bus ticket to, let's say, Washington State, do you really think these people are going to go all the way back to South Texas to get deported? No. So you have to make these little steps, and I guess it's not so much a little step, just make a line in the sand and do what you have to do to take this country back. Celebrate Independence Day by opposing government tyranny.
What should be a celebration of the courage of those who risk so much to oppose tyranny will instead be turned into a celebration of government, not liberty. The mainstream media and opportunistic politicians have turned Independence Day into the opposite of what was intended. The idea of opposing, by force if necessary, a tyrannical government has been turned into a celebration of tyrannical government itself. The evidence is all around us.
So that was some Texas Straight Talk with Ron Paul.
The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.